Welcome to White Crane Qigong 5 Element Qigong Practice. I dedicate this session to anyone who requires healing or is looking for a deeper understanding of how to heal naturally. As always, we begin this practice with feet, knees, hips in alignment. Start by breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. I like to place one hand at my heart and the other at the lower dantian. This reminds me to deep breathe in through the belly, the chi hai, and wave this breath up through the central palace or the pillar of light, and release out. We breathe in the energy and inspiration around us and release tendencies for holding on and stagnation on the out breath. Allow your hand to release from your body and just draw it down like a magnet, running down to the lower dantian and connecting with the hand that's there, and we seal this in. And then release your hands out to the side. We'll be stepping out to the right and left for each form with this practice. As we stand in wuji or emptiness, we begin by gathering up. We gather up the energy and the life force around us, and we wash this through the body like a cool mountain stream. And as it trickles down from head to toe, we release any stagnation, any energy that's ready to let go and move on. This practice is also known as pulling down the heavens. In times of trouble and peril, even those with little faith will call upon the guidance, healing, and wisdom of the almighty heavens. As you gather up for this third and final time, consciously gather your energy to you, mind, body, and spirit, and dedicate this next half hour to yourself, to really be present, to be in this moment. The more that you can remain present and aligned, the more benefit you will receive from this very healing and nourishing practice. We will draw the feet back together into bamboo, and then we'll step out to the left. I'll mirror you here. Sink through the knees and gather up, and then soften and push out. Breathe in and draw the energy back in before we step back in and release down. Step out again as we breathe in and gather up, drawing fresh energy and life force into the lungs. And then we push out as we sink down, releasing from the large intestine. These are the two organs associated with the element of metal. Step out and breathe in again. Sink through the tailbone, gather up, and draw energy into your lungs. And then soften as you breathe out and sink. And then pull back in, and as the hands wave down, we step the foot back in. This is one of my favorite aspects to this practice, is the stepping out and back in. It offers a real sense of fluidity to this practice. We breathe out to push out, and we breathe in to gather back in. The lungs and the large intestine are associated with the element of metal and the season of autumn. The lungs take in fresh energy and life force from the world around us. And as this washes through our system, we can release tendencies towards holding on, resistance, and stagnation through the large intestine. Every organ system has a yin organ, such as the lungs for nourishment, growth, and receptivity, and a yang organ, which is usually for release and action. The lungs and the metal element are associated with clear boundaries, discernment. Think of how metal can cut through. When our element of metal is out of bounds or out of balance, we can tend to feel critical, judgmental, harsh. When metal is in balance, we're discerning, just like pure gold, platinum, silver, and the crystals and gems from the earth were pure and rarefied. Gather in the qualities of healthy metal and wash this through your system. Clear boundaries, being able to say yes when you mean yes and no when you mean no. Being willing to breathe in life and inspiration while releasing grief, depression, and stagnation. Place the hands on the lower dantian and we'll seal this energy in before we commence our next form. Release the hands and step the feet back together. Now we'll step out again, and we're stepping out to the left. We reach back and gather up, and then bend the arms so you're hugging a tree, and we'll anchor the tailbone and fold over. Breathe in as you draw the hands up the back of the legs along the bladder channel, and then lightly tap the area of the kidneys. As we breathe out, we fold over with a generous bend in the knees, chin to chest, and then run the hands up the inside of the legs along the kidney meridian. Float up, feet back together, breathe out and release. Stepping out, we gather up as we breathe in and up overhead. Soften through the knees and fold over. Draw the hands up the back of the legs as you breathe in again. We breathe in to come up and out down. Breathe out to tap the kidneys gently, and then run the hands back down the back of the legs before sliding across and coming up the inside of the legs, halfway up the torso, and then release. The kidneys and the bladder relate to the element of water. Notice how the lake behind me is fluid, flowing, and receptive, reflective. These are all qualities of yin in balance. Water is the home of our courage, tenacity, and persistence. It is also said to be the home of our essence, where our kidneys reside, the home of our Jing, vitality, longevity, and bone health. Let's step out again. See how fluid you can keep your movement. You'll notice there's a light back bend here. Always flow to your body's capacity. If it's more comfortable to come straight up, please do that. With Qigong, we work to about 70% of our body's capacity, never over-expending our qi, always leaving some in reserve. When water is out of balance, we can tend to feel fearful, apathetic, flat, and depressed. Think of a body of water that isn't flowing, just stagnating. We need to keep moving to stay fluid and agile. And when we connect with the deep, primordial essence of our kidneys or our Jing, we connect with deep wisdom, inner knowing, and authenticity as we feel courageous enough to be our true selves. Gather up the inside of the legs running along the kidney meridian. Breathe out and step back in. Step out again. Lean back as you breathe in and gather up. Consider the many ways that water can meet life's requirements. It can freeze in winter. It can warm in summer. It can be boiled. And it can be steamed. Life is like that. When we're fluid and flexible, we're able to flow with different situations and circumstances with ease and grace. Drop your hands out, gather up again, folding over. You have muscles running along your back, and when we fold over, we expand through the bladder channel that runs from the inside tip of the eyebrows up over the head and down the back, and the back of each leg like two great rivers. And these muscles that are along the back, either side of the spine, when we fold over and come back up, they expand and contract, providing a nice massage for the kidneys, helping to release cortisol and adrenaline that can build up in the system. Our kidneys really take a hit when we experience a lot of fear, stress, and a disconnection from who we truly are in our essence. There is a deep wisdom and knowing within each one of us as to who we are at our core level. And when we wander away from this, there is a desire to pull back in that may be experienced as discomfort or stress. Step out and we'll gather up the qualities of water in balance, free flowing around and over obstacles, the ability to polish jagged edges smooth, to persist, to infuse us with courage and tenacity, bringing us home to our own infinite wisdom and the purity of our own beautiful essence. We release tendencies towards fear and stress in favor of calm and free flowing movement. We prepare for the next element, which is the element of wood, for the liver and the gallbladder, the season of spring. Step out and gather up. Place your hands on the inside of your thighs. Draw up legs And then press the edge of your palms in under the ribs lightly. Release down, breathe in, breathe out, and draw your foot back in. We'll step out again to the opposite side, gathering into your palms fresh chi. Slide your hands open along the inside of the legs and then draw up the thighs. We come all the way up to just under the ribs. Press in lightly and push down, and then allow yourself to float back up, and the feet come back together as the hands wash down. Gather in, draw fresh energy into the meridian of the liver. We draw the hands up, tracing this line. And then we push down to release stagnant chi from the liver and the gallbladder. The hands float up as we breathe in. We breathe out, step back in, and float back down. The liver and the gallbladder sit under the right side of your rib cage. The liver is a great organ. It's one of the largest in the body. And underneath it sits the gallbladder. It's shaped like a pear. This organ system helps to clear toxins from the body, but is also responsible for many hormones and our ability to dream, to focus, to hold inner vision. The wood element is related to goals and planning. Think about a tree with great roots anchoring it to the nourishment of the earth and its branches reaching up to the heights of heaven. When wood is in balance, we have healthy growth and tendencies towards clear inner vision. We also are more compassionate, calm, and kind. When wood is out of balance, there can be tendencies towards bitterness, anger, and frustration. I like to consider that if the liver is the dreamer, the one who knows our deepest inner vision, then the gallbladder helps the dreamer to bring their dream to fruition by being the engineer of the plans. If we're not connected to our dreams and our dreaming, this can be a source of great frustration and agitation. Every one of us has come here for a specific purpose. And deep down inside us somewhere, we know this, and there's a longing to bring this vision into the light of day. When the liver is out of balance, we can feel torpid and blue. It's a very important organ in the body. Now gather up the qualities of healthy wood in balance. Think of the season of spring where new growth sprouts and comes to life. Imagine having clear dreams and inner vision and the capacity to bring these to life. Healthy anger, compassion, and kindness. These are qualities of wood in balance. The next element is the element of fire, related to summer. And the organ system is our heart. Gather up as you step out and draw the pinky fingers together. Breathe in as you push off the base of the feet and draw your arms up overhead. Fingers point back to back as we draw down. Soften the knees and anchor the tailbone. And then allow your arms to radiate up and out. Draw the foot back in and we close. Let's try that again. We're going to step out to the side. Breathe in, connect the edges of the fingers. Draw up overhead. Reach back and down, pouring light down into your body. And then gather up so your arms are just lifted on a breeze. And then let them just drift back down. Stepping out again, we connect the baby fingers. Our heart has 3 helpers. One is the small intestine, and this meridian runs through the edge of the baby finger, hence why we connect. Other helpers for the heart are the triple heater and the pericardium. The small intestine acts as a filter for the heart, filtering out impurities and anything that might be harmful to the heart itself. The triple heater helps to regulate the temperature and the moisture between the 3 floors or dantians of the body. And the pericardium is a sac that's double-walled, that sits around the heart almost like a donut, protecting the heart from shock of all kinds, mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual. The heart is known as the supreme sovereign, the ruler of your kingdom or your queendom. We wish to govern with kindness, with dignity, discernment, and grace. We gather up to fill ourselves with the healing and connectivity of the earth as we draw down the light of the sun, filling ourselves with radiance and warmth. The energy of fire wishes to expand outward. When the heart is out of balance, we can feel reckless, manic, anxious. A heart in balance allows us to feel at peace, deeply connected with our intrinsic nature, all life. We realize that at the heart of everything that matters is love, kindness, compassion, warmth, and care. These are all beautiful qualities of the heart to embody. In warmth, peace, dignity, compassion, discernment, a deep, loving connection to ourselves and to all other beings. And we allow any tendencies toward recklessness and anxiety to be released. We move into the final element of earth. This relates to the stomach, the spleen, and the pancreas, our home and our center. We step out to the left, sweeping the arms across the body. We reach up with one hand at the armpit and the other over your head as though you're holding a platter. Turn your torso to the right and then sweep your left hand down to touch earth as you fold over. We breathe in to come back up and out to release the arms back down. and return to center. I'll add the breathing now. We breathe in as we step out and sweep the arms up. And you'll notice I keep my hips forward. We breathe out to turn. This wrings out the spleen. And then as we fold over, we wash down, gathering the energy and nourishment of the earth. And then both hands sweep back down. Let's do a few more rounds, stepping out. One hand up, one down, sweep across. Be mindful that the hand at your armpit doesn't just hang. Draw down and come back up. Earth is our center. It's our home, the place of our nourishment, where we all live. The stomach and the spleen work together. We take in nutrients and energy into the stomach. And then once that's digested and processed, the spleen takes over and takes what it can and disperses this through the body as energy. Think of the beautiful warmth of late summer. Everything is coming to fruition. Think of being centered and balanced. When these two organs are out of balance, we can have tendencies for overwhelm, obsession, worry. When we feel balanced inside, we tend to be harmonious in our actions. Here, as you turn and look over your shoulder, ask yourself what you can leave behind so that you may embody lightness. One of the keynotes of the stomach and the spleen is being able to let go, to have a natural trust and faith that life is always bringing you exactly what you need, even when it looks otherwise. The most sweep down and connect with the earth. Feel her giving, her warmth and her abundance. Step out again, reach up, circle around so you're carrying a platter, and then graciously release this to the earth, being willing to let go and gather in what comes back to you. If we're not creating space, we have no room for the new. Step out and gather up. Gather up the qualities of earth in balance, easy change, transformation, and transition. A deep, abiding knowledge of the ever abundance and grace of the universe. Being willing to feel calm and relaxed. And also being willing to let go. Draw this down and feel yourself centered and whole, complete and at peace. This is the end of the 5-element practice. Please stay with me for another few moments as we finish by closing. Draw both hands palm up at the lower dantian and then reach one hand up, wrist is soft. Face the thumb towards you and draw down to realign our energies. This is a practice of purging and releasing, and then we gather back in to fill up with what we need to bring us back into balance and harmony. It's very important to close your chi field at the end of every practice. You don't want to leave yourself open and vulnerable. We breathe in to gather up and draw down, breathing out. As I gather up, I call my spirit back from all the places it may have become entangled or entrapped. As we move through the organs, consider metal, the emotions that are associated, inspiration or grief. When we move on to water, element, emotions associated, fear and courage. Next is wood, growth, expansion, or feeling thwarted and frustrated. The heart, fire, love, compassion, or recklessness. And finally, earth, feeling balanced and whole, integrated and aligned, willing to let go of worry and concern. I thank you always for joining me for this practice. I wish you all a beautiful, beautiful day from my heart to yours. Write me a note, let me know what you'd like to see next. I so appreciate all your comments, questions, and feedback.